There we go. And that's live streaming. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is February 26, 2020, episode 369. We've been doing this for a while now. This is the Morning Misfit Call. This is where we gather together to have conversations, to see how we can awaken on a daily basis so that we can do more, be more, have more. We can give more to our families. We can fall back in love with ourselves. We can fall in love with those people around us. We can look at a situation and see it for what it is. It's a moment. And in this moment, we can choose joy. We can choose misery. We can have a lot of choices. What has happened has happened. What is happening now is your choice. And what will happen is infinite possibility. Every moment that's about to come is built on every moment that's been. It's why when we say, have you lost your mind? Have you lost your memory? Because that's what's been built. Everything that's come to you, everything that's come through you is the only source you have to make instant decisions about what's right, what's wrong, what do you like, what do you not like. So these ideas, how many of us, Chile and Puerto Rico, yeah, what is it, like 60? 60, everybody's getting their parkas out in Puerto Rico. You have a decision to make right now. How do you choose to see life? So that's what we're going to have a conversation with this morning. Anybody have any ahas, awarenesses, or awakenings that they'd like to have a question about? Raise your hand, and I'll call on you. And because we want to have a little bit of decorum as we get started here. If not, I'll read some more questions to kind of dive into your soul and give you some awakenings. Okay. Let's see here. If you're new to the call, I'm just looking here, see all of the amazing souls. If you're new to the call, drop an N in the chat, and we'd just like to welcome you. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Love you tons. I see some amazing faces here, some incredible souls. Back to the speaker view. There's Michelle and Latoya and Natalie and RBP there in the top line for me. So that being said, send out your 3 messages. Send out 4 messages today. Be an overachiever. Do 30% more. Send out some new messages. So here's a question for you. Here's what I'd like to ask you. What's changed? What's changed in you? What's changing in you? What do you think is changing in you that you feel you have control over? What's changing in you that you feel you have little control over? Self-awareness. Latoya, that's huge. Becoming self-aware of you in the moment, because there is nothing else. There is nothing else other than you in this moment. That's the reality. Oh, and by the way, some of you have taken some screenshots of this and put it up on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, sometimes the facial expressions that I have are quite interesting. So I appreciate you guys trying to take some nice pictures. So I had a conversation with one person. They go, I have like 5 different pictures I had to take in order to get you to where you looked like you weren't stroking out or something. So I appreciate y'all doing that. So what's changing in you? How you react. Exactly. So Angie, let's look at those words. How I react.
I'm listening.
And reaction or respond? React means you're acting to you're taking action against something that happened to you. Responding is you're making a decision how to show up. So it's great that you're recognizing how you react. What would change, and this is something to think about. What would change if you no longer reacted, you responded? You came back with an energy flow that's of your choice, of your decision, of your making. I could say chicken pot pie, and you would react by saying, what the heck does that mean? Or I say chicken pot pie, and you react going, I love to have me some chicken pot pie. That's a response. Be aware of how you are showing up in the world and whether you are simply reacting, right? They're having a bad reaction. They don't seem to be reacting to the drugs. They're responding well to the drugs. Reaction is sometimes negative in nature, and responding is sometimes taking control and positive in nature. So just be aware of that. Well, I believe I'm responding, not based on that word. Again, it's the simplest things. It's the subtlest of things. If it says in the Bible, I lay before you life and death, choose life. Why would something so drastic need to be reminded to us? The power of life and death lie in your tongue, how that phrase goes, RBP talks about all the time. So just be aware of that. That's awesome. I'm glad. So here's the awesome news. Here's the awesomest of awesome news. You're aware of it. Awareness is all there is. When we become more aware of what we do, we can be in this moment. In this moment right now, where I sit, life is pretty amazing. What is happening outside, the sprinklers could have a situation, something could be broken outside, the car may be out of gas. All of that doesn't matter at this moment. In this moment is what matters. What are you aware of in this moment? What are you aware of in this moment? Good morning, everybody. Great to have you all here. So here's a question for you. Let's see. Are you paying for your mind? How many of us when we were growing up ever, I don't know, broke a neighbor's window or broke something you had to pay for? Any of us ever do that growing up? I remember growing up on the farm, we were playing baseball and we broke a neighbor's window. I had to pay for the window. I don't know. I didn't pay for the window. I didn't go get it. Crashed a car. Yikes. So you had to pay for something that you destroyed. Listen, Linda, listen. Do you have to pay for things? And I want you to answer this. I want you to think about this. Do you have to pay for things that aren't broken? Yes, that's called a purchase. That's called a purchase. For things that aren't broken, and if they are broken, if they don't suit your need, if you don't like their taste, if you don't like the way they fit, if they don't, you take them back. Now, some of you don't. If it's clothes or something, yes, but if it's food, some of you don't, some of you do. But we pay for things that are broken and we pay for things that we want. I'll ask the question again. Are you paying for your mind? Are you paying for the mind that you carry? And if you are paying for it, what are you paying with? What are you paying for? How much is it costing you? If you've ever asked the price, if you've ever asked the question, how much does that cost? Because there was a limited source to make the purchase. And if that limited source exists, so then the question is that you have a limitation of what you can buy and what you can't. How much do your dreams cost? How much are they costing you to pursue them? How much are they costing you to not reach them? So let's take it one step farther. How much does belief cost you? How much is it costing you to not have a stronger belief? How much does faith cost you? Some of you could answer this next one real easy. How much does love cost you? Some of you in breakups may come up with a financial number. Some of you whose expectations have been broken significantly will come up with a pain price. How much is the pursuit of peace costing you? And how many of all of these, peace, joy, happiness, misery, frustration, aggravation, intimidation, confidence, how long does the purchase take for any one of these? Can you choose to buy joy right now? Just to put a smile on your face. Now, let the smile come from inside. What's something funny you can think about? What if you started laughing right now? What would change? What's resisting the laugh? What's resisting you being in joy right now? How much is your mind costing you? How many of you can get into a high state of joy right now? How many of you would want to get into a high state of joy right now? Make the choice. Respond to the moment. Can you start laughing? Seriously, can you start laughing? Now, if you're at work, just put a smile on, right? Listen, it's a Sean thing. You wouldn't understand. It's an Angie thing. You wouldn't understand. It's a Bree thing. You wouldn't understand. There's something that's already happened this morning that the law of polarity said you might have got a little frustrated with. But you can also be in a state of joy with it. Yesterday, I got to count toothpicks. I was reaching for a cup of coffee or something in the cabinet up there, like cinnamon or something, and this little jar of toothpicks fell, and they fell, and here's the funniest thing. They fell down, and there are all these little plastic, nice little toothpicks, and they fell down on the side, and I'm like, well, thank goodness the top didn't fall off. I kid you not. It's landed, it's stationary, it's stopped. The top shoots off, and like 20 toothpicks go on the ground. And I look at it and I went, how did that happen? And the dogs look at me, because Beamish and Jamerson were sitting there, and the dogs look at me and they're going, what'd you do? And I just started laughing. I go, I guess, well, I need to do more deep knee bends or some more leg exercise. I just started laughing. And then I couldn't pick them up. Every time I tried to pick them up, anyways, it was a comical situation. And and here's the other reason, why that happened? What might have been my schedule right at that moment? I was saying I had to be somewhere. I was saying I was running late. And the universe goes, are you sure you're late? I think you're on time. No, I'm running late. I'm sure I should have been there. I'll be 5 minutes late. Well, let's make sure. And this situation happens. If the law of attraction, if you believe in the law of attraction, then that works all the time. God made the earth and he looked at it and it is good. Whatever you ask for, your wish is my command. What is it costing you to have your mind that says a situation is not good? What is it costing you? What is it costing you to hold on to an old story? They're not good enough. Why don't they do more? They should do more for me. What if they're doing all they could? What if their act in your movie, in your play called life, what if their part in your play was they're performing at an Oscar-winning level? they would get an Academy Award for their level of participation. They are performing their part. Their part, do you know what their part is? What is their part? The stories of prior years, the challenges, the tribulations, the suffering. That was your part in the play. That was your part in the play. That was the situation. That was the character you were cast as. You asked for that long before you got here. You came to be the strength for yourself, for your family, for someone else. You came to be the testimony for someone else. And you're choosing whether to use it or not right now. What is your mind costing you? What is lack of faith costing you? What is lack of confidence costing you? As you sit in this moment, where are you at? Are you in the perfect place for the perfect thing in life to happen to you in this moment? Or are you out of this moment when the world is just an absolute turmoil? Trying to predict the future, nobody has ever lived the future they imagine. Every now and then they get a flash of it, right? Deja vu, I've been here before. What is your moment looking like? Congratulations this morning. The way you feel right now is the way you set it up last night. Congratulations. How you feel this morning is the way you set up your life 90 days ago. The cool thing about a child is they can instantly have 17 new friends sitting at a coffee table and drinking fake tea and imaginary this and imaginary that. Dear friend's little girl went outside and she goes, as soon as she gets out the door, she's starting to talk to people. What is going on out there? That's called imagination. That's called the world can give me everything and anything I want. What are you speaking into existence in this moment? What is your mind costing you? How much do you have to pay to carry your mind around? How much of what you're worrying about is going to happen? How much of what you've worried about has happened? And as we're going through this, if you've got some questions, go ahead, raise your hand. Because I love when we have dialogues. The universe brings us some pretty amazing conversations. So that's a pretty big question, isn't it? What are you paying for your mind?
Shad, I have a question.
Go ahead, Lewis.
So, recently, talking about that, how much is your mind costing you? Recently, I've been struggling finding my peace, my mental peace. I don't know why, I don't know how. Like everything's going very good right now. But just suddenly, I'm having trouble with my peace. Like concentrating, figuring out how I'm gonna do things, why. I don't know. It's just that peace side. I think it's missing on me right now.
Sure. And so with that statement, I'm going to guess your piece is missing. So listen carefully. Here's what you might want to pay attention to. In the statement you just said, if you were to write out the statement you just said, things are going very well for me right now. So if things are going well for you right now, based upon that statement, based upon looking at just that statement, my brain asks this question. So how were things going before? If things are going well right now, what would be the opposite of that? Things weren't going well before. Now you step into this, things are going well right now, and I've lost my peace. Well, of course you've lost your peace because things are going well. You're used to things going not so well. And here's the funny thing. That's where your peace lies.
Interesting.
Right? I'm only going by the words. Who you are speaks so loud. I don't need to hear what you're saying. Most people would hear and go, oh, well, things are going good. Then you should be happy. And you're like, damn it, I'm right. I know I should be happy.
Yeah.
But see, you're living out of an unhappy place called things are going good.
Wow, I'm mind blown.
And when things go good, that's not your normal. So therefore, the brain is tricking you with words as opposed to your feeling. Do you feel good that things are going well?
Yes.
So now your brain is trying to convince your body, because your body has memory. Everything is stored in your body, and your body is used to things not going well. And all of a sudden you now have things going well and your body is happy and it's looking at things, but the memory of the old story is still showing up from every cell in your body that's been produced for the last 18 years, the last 5 years with the misery from Maria and everything. So all of the stuff that's happening, your body has all this memory. You're now having some things in the physical world, and it takes time for that to transition into the body. And when you start to own this at the body level, this is why it's more important to let your heart run the show than your brain run the show, because your brain is telling you things aren't good. How silly is that? Things are going well and you're not at peace. Which part of you could not possibly be at peace? The old story. How much is it costing you to have your mind?
Wow. Yeah, very, very true. Very true.
So as you sit there, so can you become peaceful with things going well? What old story? Ask yourself. So if you were the observer, if you were the interview of Lewis, and you sit there quietly and you pose a question to yourself, you're doing an interview and you want to interview Lewis of today and say, Lewis, let me ask you your previous history of things not going well, because you've compared, right? Isn't comparison the law of all the evil of all challenges? You're comparing old versus new, good versus not so good, and things are getting better and you're less peaceful. How many people in the world do we know like that?
A lot, yeah.
So what would have to change? Would things have to get better for you to become more peaceful? No, they're better than they were before. Why can't I be? Because you're not in this moment. You just told me you're not in this moment by your words. Things are good. I'm not peaceful. One of you isn't where the things are good.
Yeah, true. Oh, that hurts. That actually hurts me.
So where do you feel it? Tell me where you feel the pain.
On like the brain, actually, because it's like my body's good, like I'm good.
So your brain, so inside of your brain, these are words, these are vibrations. So now what's happening is here's what happens when people go through a detox, when addicts are being detoxed, the pain that they feel, the reason the body gets sick, the body can get rid of toxins all the time. You know that, right? You take in food that's not good or okay, average, or you take in Cokes or coffees or alcohol, the body detoxes all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know why the brain hurts so bad and why the body shakes and does all of these things? Is because it's having to wire at a new neurological level. And therefore you are absolutely, it's kind of like you're this thing that was goo and all of a sudden you're turning into this new thing, and the brain has to go through a rewire process. So right now, the reason that you say this, I physically feel this in my body. What's happening? You're actually creating new neural pathways at such a pace, and you're having memory connections, electrical connections. You're getting an electrical shock right now in your brain, rewiring this, going, oh my God, my body feels good. You said it. My body feels good. You said it. In this shift that's happening right now, you're rewiring yourself to be at peace right now. But the brain will come up with ways. Any of us ever go through a detox, a body detox, and we had old, like a hip hurt or a knee hurt, and you're like, I haven't done anything for my hip or my knee to hurt. But yet if I asked you enough questions, there's a childhood injury. there's a high school injury from sports. Man, I'm going through this detox. I'm on day 4 and my ankle is killing me. Really? When did you sprain it in high school? How'd you know that? Because the body carries memory. I've asked some people that's downloaded to me, so how old was your mom when she broke her ankle? How did you know that?
It's your brain tricking you.
And it's the carryover of energy. We're the avatar of everyone before us.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Where did your mom and dad grow up? Was it the Dominican?
Yeah.
So your mom and dad grew up. How was their childhood? What were they doing when they were your age?
Fucking around.
And you are not.
I am not. Yeah.
So guess what the old story is that you've carried over from both of them?
I'm gonna
This is a time that I should be messing around.
Yeah.
And you're not. So the brain is going, this is not the pattern that was poured into you.
I understand.
So be aware of the moment, breathe into the moment, be in this presence, be part of this moment, not any other moment. Because if things are happening good on the outside and they're not happening good on the inside, what does it cost to own your mind? Great question. Thank you for having the courage to ask it.
Yeah. Thanks,
Now,
Sean.
what some people might say is thanks for being so naive to ask it because they see your youth. You've lived 1,000 lifetimes, brother. I'm glad I get to swim in this one that you're here now in.
Thank you, Sean.
Does that help? How does your brain feel now?
Very good, very good. In ecstasy right now, actually. Yeah. Very good.
And that's all because of vibration. It's all because of vibration.
You know, I needed this because for the last couple of days, I haven't been able to connect to the call since I've been on reunions and shit. But it was on my mind and I couldn't get it out. And I feel like now it's out. So I thank you a lot, Sean. Like, honestly.
You're welcome. And I would record yourself when you're having conversations with people and see the vibrations of the words that you've used. Because I know it's just normal language for you, but be aware of the words that you use. When I asked you what your parents were doing, you said they were effing around. That's a vibrational draw.
Okay.
Right? And you're dealing with S and stuff and shit and stuff. That's a vibrational draw. Every vibration you send out has to come back. The universe has to be in coalescence with it because it wants to serve you. The universe is here to serve you. The Lord said, think about it. What you wish is your command. What your wish is my command. So when you say these vibrational things, I love you, I love you, I love you, you effing idiot. It just exchanges everything.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah, I will.
Be aware of that. Everything. Now I know it's cool, it's hip, it's everything else. It's actually the nomenclature. It's actually the language of dialogue, right? For some generations. I worked in the industrial world for 20 years. I owned businesses in the pharmaceutical and refinery. We did industrial work, maintenance, repair. So I've worked with companies on island in Puerto Rico, Prasa and Prepa and all of this, Agua Sur, Agua Limpia, all of that stuff. And when you get in those environments, that's the language that's used all the time. And they wonder why they're stuck.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens. So just be aware of it. You've got an amazing heart. You've got an amazing opportunity that's happening in you and through you right now. You can be as instrumental in saving the island as anybody in history.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, brother.
Thanks
Love
a
you
lot.
tons. Thanks for showing up, man.
Love you.
Love you too, man. Bree, good morning, Bree. Let's go to Bree on line 2. Bree, you there?
Are you talking to me or the other girl?
Brianna.
Okay. Good morning, all. I just had a lot of things. I think this is like my 3rd day raising my hand, and I'm finally getting recognized. So I have like 3 things that I wanted to touch on. From the call before yesterday, I remember Rhonda and Monica were talking about Hold on. I don't know if you guys can hear. Is that better?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right. I remember Ron and Monica were talking about addiction to approval, and I think we were talking to Shami about relationships and stuff.
Yep.
So my question from that day was about forgiveness, because oftentimes I feel like I forgive people too fast, and I'm not like I feel like I'm wrong for forgiving people too fast.
Okay.
So I wanted to know, like, is there such thing as too fast, or do I just feel like, you know, people aren't learning their lesson, or they're just taking advantage of it if I do that?
Right. So here's a question for you. I don't know. I think I've asked you the question, but I want to ask them to you real quick. Do I or we on this call have permission to help you?
Yes.
Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yes.
Do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Please.
So here's the question. I know this is going to sound crazy. Please make sure that you stay on the road. If you're asking that question, have you really forgiven them?
Yeah, we're going to post office. Have I really forgiven them?
Yeah, if you're asking, do I forgive too fast? You're thinking that they need to respond in some way because you forgive them too fast and they haven't done what you thought they were going to do once you forgave them, or you weren't going to feel a certain way that you were going to feel once you forgave them. So you're asking, do I forgive too fast? Let me ask this question. Can you ever forgive too fast?
I don't think so.
So then where does the pain come from? There's a part of you that wants to forgive instantly.
Yeah.
But the part of you that argues with it says, well, if you forgive, that shows you're weak.
Right. And people are just gonna run all over me.
Can people run all over you without your permission?
No.
So then how can they run all over you?
That's one of them that people is. That's why it's not right now.
You guys say forgive.
You go and be up, then you go and be down, and people go and
I'm here with my grandparents.
Hello.
And hi, how are you? This is
Very
Sean.
good. Is that mom and dad?
These are my grandparents.
Oh, hello, grandparents. I love St. Thomas.
How are you?
Very good, very good. We're going to get some wisdom, y'all. Y'all listen in. We're going to get some wisdom here.
Okay. So I told her I am a November person. That's what November person are. You are down and then you are up.
On the extremes.
Yeah.
And again, so when you forgive, it's over. If you forgive. Now I'm going to ask Rhonda to throw the female brain in here, because again, my mind is sitting there and going, listening to the question, can I forgive too fast? How can you forgive too fast? You're forgiving too fast because you're expecting some kind of return.
Well, I think the way I would say this is, first of all, Bree, if you are forgiving fast, I am jealous of you, because it's hard as a human to forgive quickly, which is why for me, I have to go to God for forgiveness. I have to, because I tend to hold on to unforgiveness easier than letting go of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, Jules.
Yeah, that's what I tell my husband. Thank you.
I love your grandparents. They are my people.
to
Cool.
So when
Say
you
again?
talk about when you talk about forgiving quickly, that's a beautiful gift.
Mm-hmm.
And it's society that tells you not to forgive quickly. I would caution you as to what you're listening to or what you're reading if you're struggling with the thought of forgiving quickly. because people can't walk all over you unless you allow them. It's a choice to allow them to walk all over you. And the reason I can say this is I have in the recent past dealt with unforgiveness. And some of it I didn't even know I was harboring until I had a conversation with God, and he revealed to me the strong emotions that I was holding on to towards a person, and that I had not forgiven them. And I was holding on to those strong emotions because I was scared they were going to walk all over me again. Well, I have learned now that they can't walk on me unless I give them a chance to walk on me. And judging by listening to the reaction of your grandmother, I'm gonna guess y'all are Christian people, because when I said God, she started nodding her head, and I felt her energy. So I know that you have probably been raised to forgive and let it go. And when you're holding on to it, it's because you are hearing society go, they're going to walk all over you again. And everyone's going to tell you, see, I told you so.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, I would caution you to not listen to society, because if you're going to listen to society, you're going to get the results of society. So then it becomes what results do you want? But are you getting rid of your grandparents? Because I want them to stay in the car. I like them. Don't let them go.
They're going to the post office.
I'm going to mail a box, but my husband will be there. She will tell me.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Yes, bye, Grandma. We love
Bye,
you.
Grandma. We love you, Grandma. See you, Grandpa.
Okay.
So Bree, what your struggle with is
Hold on, Rhonda, just a second. Hold on just a second. Do y'all realize what just happened?
Yeah.
Do y'all hear? I mean, this woman who's sitting in the back seat of that car, who's been to heck and back 101 times, it's not, probably doesn't have her own Zoom account. Listen to me. In St. Thomas, happens to have a granddaughter who involuntarily invites her onto a call and gets to speak about the one thing that moves her soul every day: God. And loves her granddaughter enough to speak her voice from the back seat of a car to inspire all of us. Inspire me anyway, and I know inspire Rhonda. But Bree, I hope you are grasping the moment in time in history that you are in to have that guidance at your hand. It's just that this is a moment that I, in 20 plus years of sales training and speaking, has one woman had such a powerful impact on me that wasn't really planning on being on a call this morning. She didn't wake up this morning going, I got to get ready for the Zoom. What an amazing moment. So please go ahead, Rhonda. I just didn't want that moment to escape me.
Yeah. What I would give to have my grandparents with me again and hear their wisdom spoken into me. But Bree, is that settling with you what I'm saying on continue forgiving quickly? Because that's healthy for you. That's healthy for your soul. That's healthy for your spirit. And those people that you forgive, they can only do what they're doing. So, and this might be totally wrong how I say this, but this is how I've lived a lot, and Sean can check me on it. There's a lot of times that I just expect those people to continue how they are, and I'm pleasantly surprised if they change. And then I never have to worry about them stepping on me because I expect that. And if they react better, it's just a pleasant surprise. And then I just get to have a joyful moment of, looky there, they did better this time. But the God that you serve is a God of forgiveness. Otherwise, none of us would be sitting here right now. He wiped the planet with a flood the brother can do it again if he wanted to, and he hasn't. And he promised he never would. So he's a God of forgiveness, and you forgiving reflects your maker, and that's beautiful. Does that help?
It does. I wanted to go back to where you said, you know, sometimes you feel like God has to check you and say, like, you didn't realize that you really didn't forgive the person. Like, I don't know if, I think sometimes I can forgive the action, but then sometimes the hurt, like the hurt from the action is what resurfaces. So I don't know if it's considered forgiveness if I'm still hurting about it.
Yes, you can still have emotions around that. I went through a really, really nasty divorce. To just be honest, I was hunted for 5 years. And when I say hunted like a prey, with the necessary weapons to be considered a prey. And there's times where, yes, my cat shows up when things get scary. There's times when I still can have an emotion around that experience, but I have fully forgiven that man. And I now work on full forgiveness of myself in that time of my life. So the forgiveness that you might need to be, that you're probably feeling, is forgiving yourself for picking up the offense or for allowing yourself to hang on to that offense.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good morning. I like the chant. Whoa.
Tell the
Oh,
people.
good morning, Grandpa.
Yeah, I'm Clarence Smith.
Good
What
morning,
I want
Clarence.
to say about this forgiveness, we have to understand on the cross, Jesus died for us, and them that crucified him, what he said to them, forgive them, Lord, they know not what they done. And I seem to me that forgiving people, it relate almost, which is the higher one, to the same thing. Because if he didn't die on the cross was, like you say, a word ago, we can't be here. And he said, forgive them. If you do someone do you something, the Lord pray. We have to remember what he said. Forgive them, Lord. And our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. You know? So he's saying, forgive us. We have to forgive people, regardless of what they done to us. He will take care of that part. Forgiveness is what we supposed to do. And
Amen. Grandpa, you could be a preacher.
You tell it, Clarence. You do it, Clarence.
I don't know too much. I read the Bible, not that much of how. Now I don't really understand the Bible like other people, but I could tell you the words sometimes, And I know I mostly try to go by his word. I'm not perfect, but I always could remember something that he said that I can relate to somebody.
That's amazing. That is, you are an amazing, beautiful, wise soul. And I am blessed that your beautiful granddaughter's in my life. And I'm blessed even more that you have spoken into my life. And I stand with you. And I want you to know that all the way from Texas, I love you. And I'm so thankful that you have the love in your heart for Jesus, and that you pass that on to your daughter, your granddaughter. And, it says in the Bible that the men in our family can pass the generational blessings for at least 4 generations. And you've done that, and I can see that. And I want to thank you for that, because that changes this world and advances God's kingdom through your words and through your children. That's amazing. I think we lost him right there. There they are.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. What happens if we don't show up today?
Whew.
What happens if we get tired and we go, today's not the day? Bree doesn't get to ask her question. Clarence doesn't get to pour into all of us. You think Clarence had a script? That just came from his heart. He heard something. He goes, when they stop messing about, I'll share with them some experience. When they all stop pissing about with these silly thoughts, let's talk about forgiveness from a man who's had to forgive uncountless times. A man who maybe in his life has done some things he's had to get some forgiveness for. Maybe not. But forgiveness is a muscle. And I would venture to bet that Clarence and Grandma, Clarence's bride, have had more chances to flex that muscle of forgiveness than most any of us. And if you want to go into a battle of comparison of what you've had to forgive over, I'd lay mine down pretty quick and go, nope, I don't have a problem. My life's pretty good. So Bree, Clarence, just amazing. Thank you. Woof, how cool was that? How just in the moment is that? And that just a giggle.
Yeah, brilliant thing.
I just wanted to say the second question was, we were just talking to I forgot his name, but the nice curly headed guy.
Lewis, yeah.
My back hurting too, Lewis. My back hurting and my shin hurting. I need to know what's going on. Is a shift happening, Lewis? We on the same page.
I think we are.
And Bree, you had a third question, maybe?
I think I forgot the last one, but
Okay, if you raise your hand.
yes. Thank
Cool.
you guys again.
Thank
Love
you,
you
Bree. Thank you, Clarence. Thank you, Clarence's bride. Thank you for
Thank
being in this
you.
world, and thank you for pouring into us this morning.
Thank you.
Yay, how cool is this? I never did get to know my grandparents. I knew them at a very young age, and that wisdom, I could sit at Clarence's feet and just listen to him. He could read the phone book, he could read, and Clarence's bride, they could just, the wisdom that comes out of them, you could watch Clarence's bride cooking and the wisdom that she could share with you from just cooking. What's the recipe? I don't know, a little of this, a little of that. Oh, I just love it. Hi, Gina. Gina IG, simply Gigi. Got a question?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Look at that hair. I love that hair. Good morning, Gigi. Gina?
It is wash day, so I'm about to go wash it after this. So yesterday I went to lunch with like an old friend of mine. And then so she was asking me like, how is the business going? How's everything going? And I was just like, I don't know, there's like something that's holding me back. And I kind of don't know what it is, because I feel like I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out sometimes. And then so like when we had the conversation, it really like had my mind running like, okay, what is really holding me back? And I just kept asking that question like pretty much for the whole entire day. Until like I got home by myself and I was alone. And I was like, is it the fact that like, well, she did say like I'm very personable, so she's not sure like why I'm so scared to like put myself completely out there. And it just like made me question like, okay, I'm personable with you because you've known me for like 10 plus years. But like when it comes to a stranger, I'm not like as personable. I feel like I don't show the real me to someone like I've just met or someone like that hasn't known me for like long periods of time. So it's like I'm struggling with why can't I just be personable with just everybody? Like I just can't be like me, myself.
So that's the question.
Yeah.
Do you see those little tick marks right here?
Yes.
That's one stroke for every time you said the word like.
Like, yeah.
And the reason I say that is because you're in a life you like. You're not in a life you love.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of that. Now, you did say another thing. A mentor of mine would say, sometimes we need to be in the realm of reality. We need to have one foot on both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then the question is that's in the realm of the unseen and the realm of the seen. As it relates to your business, and when you have one foot in, one foot out, what part of the business are you not comfortable with? The part that's out. What part is keeping you out of stepping into the business completely?
I guess the part of having to put myself out there.
Okay. So what part of you is not worthy of success?
The old story.
Yeah, well, it could be.
No.
I'm just asking you the questions. So if the old story was forgiven, funny how that's coming back up. How much is your mind costing you? How much are you paying for your mind? If you decided to cash in the old story, if you're walking around with a casino, you're walking around with a voucher, with a check called the old story. And it may be a deposit, it may be a withdrawal. But once you go cash it in, you're going to get the exchange. What's the exchange you get if you cash in the old story and say that story is now used? It's used up.
So the voucher that I'd get?
Yeah, the old story that you have, you cash that in, you go get your chips, whether it's $1 or $10 or you owe them money, whatever it is, but you cash that in, you no longer have that story to carry around. What if the story of it's okay for you to have success was true now?
Then I would have success.
Yeah, and so what part of you is fearful of having a conversation with your old friend? Is it asking for, is it asking for money, or is it you're not?
It's not like really the conversation like with my friend. It just kind of like made me realize like I'm okay with talking to her because I've known her for so long. But if it's like somebody I don't know, it's like I don't know if it's like I'm in fear that they won't like accept me for being me. So I like I put on this like front of somebody else instead of just being like the real me from the beginning.
Okay. So is this more about them doing what you do or letting them do what they want to do?
I'm not sure.
So do you think most people that would hang around you, would most people follow the practices in life that you do?
I mean, for the most part.
Yeah. So are you asking people to become totally uncomfortable with joining you? And do you think having people joining you in business makes them totally uncomfortable?
Yes. Yeah.
So then that's where the situation lies. Because are you comfortable in the business?
Not fully.
Okay. What business are you now? Without saying the name of your company, what business are you in? Are you in a business of taking money from people? Are you in a business of teaching people how to trade currency? Are you in the business of building people? Which business are you in?
I mean, the right answer I would say would be like all three, right? But
could be. But which one do you think you're in?
The business of teaching people how to exchange currency.
Yeah, and so who really wants to do that?
Yeah.
So what if there was a bigger reason that the solution was a new activity? Right? If people want to go run a marathon, have you ever run a marathon?
No.
Would you ever want to run a marathon?
Yes.
Okay. Would you want to run a marathon tomorrow?
No.
If I had a conversation tell me somebody Give me the name of somebody that you absolutely love. You would do just about anything for.
My mother,
Okay. What's mom's first name?
Rosaire.
One more time.
Rosaire.
Rosaire. So you've got to run a marathon in the next 24 hours. You've got to cross the finish line of a 26-mile marathon. Yesterday, let's do this yesterday. So yesterday you had to run a marathon because in 24 hours, your mom may get, God forbid, she would have gotten sick yesterday. Would you have run a marathon then to keep her from getting ill?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I love her that much.
Because you love your mother.
Yeah.
So we talked about this the other day. What if we just fell in love with our prospects and we gave them a reason to fall in love with us? What wouldn't they do for us? What wouldn't we do for them? You're still looking to get from people. That's where the uncomfortableness is. I want to give them this. I want to teach them this. I want to teach them this. Yes, but what are you getting in return? If you teach people how to trade foreign currency, what do you get?
I guess the satisfaction from teaching them.
No, you don't. Otherwise, you'd have a school. You'd have a school for thousands of people to come.
That's true.
That'd be free education. What do you get when you teach people how to trade currency? What do you get? What's your reward? Money.
I mean,
It's money. And so the story of you being qualified enough to teach somebody how to do something to get paid for that hasn't quite sunk in yet. But you'd go run a marathon for your mom and not have to get paid at all and be satisfied and happy as a lark. You'd go through the pain, you'd go through the suffering. So I would encourage you to look at what it is that you're giving to what it is you're going to receive. And what business are you in? Because soon as you step into the I'm going to help people have more of what they want, you're going to have to ask a whole different level of questions. Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
So how could you step into the business more? How could you step into that comfort more? Let me ask you this, what part of you steps into the business? Because if it's not in you all the time, then what part of you decides to turn that on?
Never thought of it like that, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so these are things to think about. So are the person who sponsored you, are they near you? Are they a friend that enrolled you in the business?
Yeah, complete stranger.
Oh, complete stranger.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about giving things away to complete strangers?
I mean, I don't feel anything. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That sounds like your business.
Yeah.
Now, does your enroller interact with you?
No.
So the person that enrolled you doesn't interact with you, doesn't really support you, and is kind of left you on your own because maybe you're not the big producer and they're spending time with producers in their business. Maybe not. But they enrolled you, they got you here, and now you're got to figure it out on your own. That'd be like me driving by at 90 miles an hour saying, get in. And you jump in, and then I jump out of the car and you're like, well, what the heck is this? Would it be fair to say maybe the business hasn't fallen into you yet?
Possibly, because it's been about 5-6 months, and I've been like on my own since like month 1. So it's like,
okay. So we're starting to hear the rest of the story. Yeah. What's the reward you want from your business?
I guess financial freedom.
Okay. To do what? What would be something you want to do in the next 6 months?
6 months would be retirement parents.
Okay.
If I could do that.
That would be awesome. And the amount of income that's necessary to retire your parents, have you seen people create that much money in 6 months in your business model?
Yeah.
Okay. So you now know it's possible. You now have something called hope. now the reality is that you see that it's possible. Now it's necessary to take the actions to create that. And you're not sure which actions to take because you're kind of throwing darts on a board going, I wonder if this works. I wonder if this works. I wonder if this works. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would encourage you to, do you know somebody like upline from this person? Do you know where your lineage goes?
Well, like not really. Well, I do, but I don't really like know any of those people, or some of them I don't even think are active anymore. So it's like I had somebody else that like offered me help, but it's just like me like, okay, is he going to do the same thing that the last person did? It's like
Right.
that kind of fear comes up.
So you have a big goal. You have a big goal. You have a big desire. And I'm going to ask you to raise your hand and ask for some more help. And I'm going to use one of Jim Rohn's favorite words, until. I'd keep raising your hand and asking for help until you find the person that's going to reach down and give you some guidance. Because your goal is too important to not get done. Right? What if it took 18 months? That wouldn't be a bad thing either.
No.
So the key right now is where the disconnect comes from is you're not sure what to do. Somebody just gave you this amazing bomb of success that if fired correctly and put the sequence in the right order will blast success around the globe. But you're afraid to touch any of the buttons because you don't want the thing to blow up. So, if anybody who's in your organization that you could reach out to. So is that a little more emotion coming on right now, or is that allergies?
Emotion that I didn't think I had.
Okay. So the tears that you're crying now are watering this seed of desire that you have. So you don't have to stop them. And this big desire that you have of this powerful woman, you shedding a tear right now doesn't make you weak. This is what a community of love does to and through. So I'm going to do a Paul Harvey right now. And some of you that are young on this call don't know who Paul Harvey is. The rest of the story. So Gina, what's the rest of the story? Is there something you're tremendously scared of? Is there something that you need us to pray for you on? Is there something?
You know, me, I feel like part of the fear is like, I'm scared like for myself that like people won't accept me for being me.
Okay, so Gina, as you sit here right now, I want to speak to your subconscious, and I want to speak to you. You're this amazing, beautiful African-American queen, this beautiful soul with an amazing heart that's sitting here in front of me right now. And I love you. I love your courage. I love your strength. I love your vulnerability. I love your honesty. This is a cry not for help. This is a cry from your strength to say, who's as strong as me? I want you to hear that. Who is as strong as me? This is not you being weak. This is you being a tigress, saying enough is enough.
I feel like I got to the point where I'm just like sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly. So what can we do today as a community? What would you like to hear now in your soul, in your heart? that would let you say, I found a home?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I already found a home because I'm at least open enough to like say something.
Okay.
But
That's
I don't
awesome.
know.
And sometimes we just need to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like this is the. I got like the
Gina.
hyperventilating cry right now.
Okay.
Gina, I'm feeling you. Like I've been over here like wanting to crawl through the camera and get to you. You had someone speak life over you, and you haven't had that before, and that's what drew you into this opportunity. And it was a life-giving moment. And deep down inside, that little girl that knew anything was possible is still exists, but she's scared to come out because she's been let down before. And you took a chance and you jumped on it, and you feel like you've been let down again. But the life that you're seeking is not the opportunity. The life-giving words that you've heard are freedom. And you saw it, and then it felt like it got yanked away. And when it appeared to get yanked away, it made you question yourself, your worth, your strength, your capability. You questioned everything about you. And Gina, you need to, it's easy to say, you got to quit those questions, because you are worthy. You are priceless. The maker of the universe knitted you together in perfect place, in perfect timing, in the perfect setting, with the perfect hair, the perfect, amazing smile, the perfect heart. Everything in you and about you is perfect. It's perfectly you. And everything you have is perfect. And it's exactly what you need. But you see, there's these strongholds that hold on to us and tie us down, kind of like a hot air balloon. You're tethered, and these strongholds have tethered you. And you thought for a minute, when you heard whoever spoke this freedom over you, you thought for a minute someone had untied the tethers and you had lifted. And somewhere, some way, you held on to those tethers, and all you did was extend in elevation, and you haven't been set free yet. And there's two kinds of freedom. The most important is your spiritual freedom. And we can talk about that one-on-one if you want to. And when you gain that spiritual freedom, there's nothing that can hold on to you. And the other freedom you need is the freedom to allow yourself to have this freedom. And that's forgiving yourself. But Bree, you are worthy. You do deserve those life-giving words that were spoken over you. You deserve all that and more. You are a daughter of the maker of the universe. That means you're the daughter of the Most High God that there is. And so that means you are super valuable. Super valuable. You're priceless. And I feel you, and I know what it's like to sit in a room and have somebody speak the freedom, and somewhere deep down inside that you can't even explain, you go, oh my gosh, that's for me. That's it. No one's ever put it into words, and that's it. And then to never be helped again. And then you feel like it's within a arm's reach and you just can't get to it. Well, welcome to this community, because we're going to figure out the roadblocks. And it's not transactional. This is not for a transaction. This is for us to have a relationship and for us to help you find freedom and to help you step into that life that you deserve. You're going to come up today against some challenges that are going to make you question everything we just spoke into you and over you. And there's going to be some words people are going to say to you, and there's going to be some things, some events occur to you today. And I want you to see that those events occur because once you get your freedom, you're going to step into what God has planned for you. And then those strongholds can't hold on to you anymore. New ones will try to come. But I want you to sit back and observe. Thieves don't rob an empty vault. So you've got something so amazing inside of you that every force possible that doesn't want you to succeed is working overtime to make sure you don't, because you are that powerful and you have that much to offer the world. And all that is encompassed in your beautiful body, in your amazing smile, in the heart that beats inside your chest. And you are worthy of that and more. And as it comes out, we are going to be massively blown away at how amazing you truly are. And if you could, for a chance, step out and look at you through God's eyes and through our eyes, you would be blown away in amazement as to what you would see. And I want to encourage you. I want you to realize the pain you're feeling now is the breakthrough that's coming. And you always hear those sayings, it's darkest before the dawn. It usually is. But the dawn's coming and you can't stop it.
I've been feeling like there was a breakthrough coming. I just didn't know when.
It's coming. So the other thing I want you to be aware of is the words you speak around yourself. When you begin to talk and you say, you know, like this and like that, I want you to say love. I want you to change that. And I want you to begin to speak life over yourself of the breakthrough is here, not coming. The breakthrough is here. My time is now. I am made for this. And this is fun while it's happening now. Not going to, not around the corner, not might be, not will be, not in the future. This is exciting and scary all at the same time because it's happening now. And I'm going to be praying that over you. I'm going to be speaking that over you. But sister, I feel you. Rise up, mighty woman. Rise up. Do not lay down to this. That's not who you are. And I am calling you out. Rise up to this challenge because you know you can do this. You just need some sisters behind you, either swift kicking you in the hind end or holding you up when you kind of tilt backwards a little bit. Well, guess what? When you tilt backwards a little bit, we're going to be there to push you right back up and stand you right back up, dust you off, straighten your crown, and not have to tell the whole world about it. And I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
And cry those tears. Those tears are emotions that need to leave the body. Cry them out. Snot, blow the snot, get the ugly crying face, do everything you got to do. Get it out. And then I'm going to tell you, like I told Noah the other day, I don't know where you live, but if there's a place where you can put your feet on the earth without any shoes between you, go get about 15 minutes of you just connecting with the earth so you can get some of this out and back into the earth and let the earth deal with it so you don't have to.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that help you?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I love you.
I love you too.
Hey, Gina.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being you this morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be me.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you for that voice that has kept you quiet. Thank you for saying it's my turn now to the voice that says it's time to speak. Thank you for having courage. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you. You're an amazing soul. You poured joy into so many of our hearts today. And that's a gift. That's a gift you didn't know you were capable of. That's a gift you didn't think when we unwrapped this, when we unwrapped this thing this morning, that the present that would come out of that would be for all of us too. It's okay to be strong. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's not weak. So thank you for being here this morning, Gina. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to that voice inside of you. It will guide you. It is guiding you. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Manny, you got your hand up.
Good morning, Mr. Sean.
Good morning, Manny.
So it was when Lewis was speaking, I picked my hand up, and I'm just going to say something. I hope it could bring him some value, or to whoever else may need it. I'm not a very big religious person, but I do have a relationship with God, Jesus, whatever you want to call him. The way I speak to him, I don't know if it's correct. We'll wait till Judgment Day to see what he has to say to me, right? But I speak to him as he's a friend, like in my lingo and my conversation, and that's worked for me, right? Like I said, right or wrong, who knows? Only he does. But in religious wise, if whoever's listening to this believes in a higher power, in John 15:7, it says, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you will ask whatever you desire and it will be done for you. And I can't break that down because that's too smart for me, but I took it how I take it. And if that helps someone, that helps. But specifically what I wanted to say is a quote from Bob Proctor for that specific emotion Lewis is feeling, if he's still on the call. It says, practice being aware of how you're feeling in any given moment. If you're feeling bad, recognize it's because you're having negative thoughts. Then quickly change what you're thinking about so that your vibration changes. Expressing gratitude instantly shifts your feelings. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that helps somebody. And that's all I have for you this morning, Mr. Sean.
Appreciate it. How's your little boy this morning?
He's doing good. He actually caught the flu. So that's why I was home with him yesterday. He threw up last night, but overall, he's feeling better. Thank you so much for asking.
And how are you feeling?
I'm doing blessed, spectacular, outstanding, magnificent, extravagant. All of those words into one equal Manny.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Manny. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that inspired. Those words were great words this morning. Thank you for sharing them. And thanks for sharing those words with your family. As you shared them, you changed the energy of your family. I appreciate you, brother. Natalie. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sick, so please excuse my voice. But I had raised my hand when I saw Gina speaking, because one, I can totally relate to you, girl. I have been there and went through a crazy transition and breakthrough myself when it came to, just trying to pretty much just figure out who I was and, be comfortable with being myself around everyone. So I can totally relate and understand. And I can also totally relate and understand to being brought into a business and kind of being left on your own. So I just wanted to reach out and let you know that you are strong and you are amazing and you are beautiful. And, it takes a lot to, come on a call with a bunch of people that you don't really know and express that. So kudos to you, because it took me a while to even speak on this call because, you know, like as Sean was speaking, you know, all these days that I've been hopping on his calls, it was like I was having revelations every day about myself, learning things about myself, and, you know, really just looking at life, at my life from a different perspective. So it takes a lot to come up here and be that vulnerable, because it was hard for me to do that. So I appreciate you for coming up here and, you know, expressing to all of us, you know, what you're struggling with right now. It takes a lot of strength and courage to do that. And I also wanted to let you know that if you needed help, I don't know if you're in I Am Master Academy, if that's the company that you're with and that, you know, you were brought into and kind of left on your own. But I actually have a chat of a bunch of people, you know, people that used to be in the company, people that still are in the company, people that aren't in the company. And I kind of just have that chat as an open environment, an open platform for people who do trade, but people who are also just looking for a community to grow with and be themselves with. And, you know, like I said, a lot of people are in it, a lot of people aren't. There's no judgment, there's no requirements, there's no, you know, nothing of that sort, but it's just, you know, just positivity. We try to do our own trainings from time to time for people that, you know, are struggling with learning the concept of trading. And, you know, we have I send out Sean's call every morning. I send out Nana's call every morning. Sometimes we do like our own little motivational or mindset calls of things that we've learned from Sean and Nano for people that, you know, aren't early birds like us. But it's really just an open environment. So if you were interested in being a part of that and, you know, seeking help from us, we help each other every day. You know, if somebody makes money off of a certain trade, you know, we try to do a call on it to let people know how we made money that way. So we just really try to lift each other up every day and, you know, help each other with whatever we're struggling with. So if you wanted to be a part of that, we would love to have you. And I love you, Sean. I love you, Rhonda. You guys are great. And that's all I wanted to say. Because
Natalie, thank you. And look at you now. Look at you now. I was afraid to speak, and now I'm running the show. I love you, girl.
I know, right?
I love you, Natalie. You are an amazing, beautiful woman. It's so beautiful to see you step into your greatness.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. You guys really help me every single day.
Well, you help us every single day as well. I appreciate that. So, Gina, yeah, if you connect with Natalie, make sure exchange IGs, whatever it is. Listen to me. I said IGs without thinking about it. What the world is coming to. It's going to just stop on an axis right now. Laura Mendez. Good morning, Laura Mendez. Let's go to Laura Mendez.
Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Outstanding, my love.
That's amazing to hear. I love this call. Listen, I missed the call throughout the weekend, and I just felt like something was wrong with me, like something was missing, and it's just amazing how powerful it is that when you don't have access to it, you miss it.
What an honor to hear that from you. I appreciate it.
I guess in an environment you can have, I guess, that grounding, you know, because I feel like that's what this call is for me. So I just want to say that, you know, don't miss it. And if you do watch the recording, it's just powerful. Like what you were saying today, like, you know, if you wasn't on the call, then, you know, Brianna's grandparents, like that, yeah. So it's just, again, when you miss it, you're literally missing on something. So just wanted to say that. And I have a question for you, Sean. At the beginning of the call, you were talking about faith and what your lack of faith was costing you. Am I right? I was kind of driving, so I was a little distracted. I think those were the words that you used.
Yep.
So something just popped into my mind, and I was thinking, when you have fear, is that always lack of faith?
No, because you could have faith and still be fearful. You can, the question is then it's about action. Because faith is what's helping you get through the fearful, right? Faith is understanding. It's not that you're not going to be afraid. It's which is stronger at the moment, which is keeping you from inaction. Faith requires action. Faith requires us to move in some direction. We may get a wrong answer. We may get an answer we don't like, but we were doing it in faith. How many of us have ever tried to help somebody? We call it in good faith, right? Good faith commitment, but it still requires action, right? If I tell you if you landed in Dallas, Texas, and you said, Sean, could you pick me up at the airport? And I said, absolutely. You have faith that I'm going to do it. Now you could sit there for 3 days, but if you sat there for 45 minutes, you'd call me again. Your faith would be going, I need to check to see if he knows what airport I'm at. Right? So it does require some action, and we're still going to be scared. At least that's my interpretation of it. The neophyte that I am in understanding faith and doing my best to live in faith. RBP?
Yeah, so Laura, what Sean just taught you was how to flip the script, or that's how I say it. So it's a powerful thing. Every time fear runs at you, because fear is it's a liar. Fear's a liar. Fear is nothing, is not attached to anything that is of God. God's not fear. So when fear runs at you, you get an opportunity to flip the script. And what I mean by that is every time fear comes at you, you look at the fear and you go, every time you come at me, I know that there is something amazing you're trying to keep me from. That increases my faith, and that makes me push past this fear. I'll cling tighter to God, because I know if you're coming after me, if fear is surrounding me, that means there is either a breakthrough, a blessing, or both right about now, and it's about to happen. So you flip the script and you begin to welcome those fearful moments. I think I can say this to you. I think I know you well enough to say this to you. Trials and tribulations are considered an honor. That's in the book of James. James is the discipleship book. James is how to live a Christian life, slap you in the face around book. Every time trials and tribulations come, it creates fear. If we are to consider trials and tribulations an honor, and we grow through them, and we increase our faith in them, and we increase our ability to advance our purpose in them, then every single time fear comes around, never question your faith, because it shows up and it exposes your faith. And when you flip the script on that, every time fear comes around, you'll rejoice in it, because you're going to grow and something amazing is about to come through. Does that make sense how I said that?
It does. Yeah. It does.
Does that give you some power there? Because fear is a very strong emotion, and it can be breathtaking. But if you will flip it and take from that strength and rob it of its strength and use it to strengthen your faith, and instead of it taking your breath, suck the life out of it and strengthen yourself with your faith because the fear came at you, now it's a powerful tool when fear hits you. And it empowers you instead of robbing you of your strength. That's a hard concept. Am I saying that correctly? She froze on me. Look at that. Look at fear trying to jack with me and make me think I don't know what I'm talking about. That ain't gonna happen. She heard it. I know she did. There she is.
I did.
Well,
I think.
are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can.
Okay, perfect. I was talking to myself. Yeah, the reason why I asked that is because I've had like so many moments where I'm just becoming more aware of the I guess the feelings that I'm feeling, or like I'm getting to the root of certain things. And when Sean was talking about that today, I was like, it just made me realize that, or I guess remember something that I was thinking of, and it is that I sometimes I feel like I fear the person that I'm becoming because it's new to me, and letting go of that story, that old story, is gonna leave me with like, I'm not gonna have it, right? So what do I carry now? So I have to. So I'm just like a little. I feel like I'm fearful of that. So I was just questioning: am I fearful of becoming that person, or am I losing faith on the future that I know I want for myself? So that's why I was asking that.
Right. So that fear is kicking you into faith because you know the old has to go, correct?
Yes.
But you can't see the future, correct?
Sometimes I can. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah. So the future requires you to walk in faith. So the part that's really shaking you the most is you don't know what that looks like because you've never done it before.
Right.
So it's not really the fear that you're concerned about. The fear is motivating you into new growth and into a new life. It's the unknown. And
Right.
it's just because it's unknown. But here's what you know. You know who you are. You know where your identity comes from, correct?
Yes.
You know who holds you. You know who holds the world, correct?
Correct.
So you don't have anything to worry about. This is the exercise of faith. It's not fear. You're just exercising your faith. And it's like what I posted the other day. Are you preaching what you're practicing? So this is exposing that. And it's kind of making you go, uh-oh, I might have to tighten a few things up here. And it's that moment, and this is an old movie. You probably, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's that moment in Indiana Jones. Have you ever watched any of the Indiana Jones movies?
I have, but
I would encourage you to. It cuts out. Okay, I would encourage you to go watch the Search for the Holy Grail, and at the very end of the movie, you'll see a beautiful interpretation of faith. I don't want to tell it to you. I don't want to tell it to any of y'all because you really need to just go watch the movie and see it. But you're just experiencing when the rubber meets the road, and the faith that you speak of, do you have it? And you do. You do. This is just an opportunity to exercise it, and that's what's beautiful. God brings these opportunities for us to exercise it because it's called growth. And you got this, and He's got you. Does that make sense?
it does. So thank God telling me that I need to work out. So I'm doing a lot of exercises.
Well, the faith, kind of like forgiveness, faith is a muscle. And you got to exercise it. And as you do, it grows.
Amen.
So here's a couple of questions that came up as I was listening to this conversation. And I think they work for all of us. Who is expecting you to be in your old story? Who is excited you are living your old story? How much faith does it take to live in your old story? How much faith do you need to live into your new story?
Repeat those.
Who is expecting you to be in your old story? Who is excited you are living your old story? The image that downloaded to me was when you show up in a new dress and new hair and everybody's like, girl, you looking fine, girl. Ooh-wee. That's what played in my head. That's the sound I heard. Because you changed and they get excited, but they don't want you to stay there. How much faith does it take to live in your old story? So when you're getting these questions and you're getting these challenges, guess what? You're moving into the new story. You're finding your space. And how much faith do you need to live in your new story? Pretty cool. I love that conversation. I love to be, I'm glad I got to be a fly on the wall on that conversation. Hey, Brandon, I see your hand raised, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Outstanding, brother.
I don't really have a question. I told Rhonda I was going to get on here because I talked to her yesterday, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate these calls. Once again, you, Rhonda, and Nano, you guys have helped me to transform my life. And a couple of days ago, I was driving because I drive trucks, and I was listening in on a call, and I believe you were talking to Shammy about the situation in the car with her and her husband. And then there was another gentleman that came on, I forget his name, but he was saying something about how he, at times, well, I guess as men, we're fixers, and how we just want to fix things, but what about listening to our spouse or our significant others and things like that? And it really hit me because I'm like I really big on problem solving, and so I just want to get it done. I want to be able to fix it so it's resolved, and so and in my mind, I'm thinking that everything will be good, but there's some of realizing that I'm not really listening to my wife the way she would want me to. And so it resonated with me, and I thought about it all day, and I had a question to myself. I'm like, well, my wife is a very, very like quiet, laid back person she's more an observer. And so, and we have a great relationship and everything too. Like we talk like in the morning, we talk at every lunch. And so I called Rhonda. Well, I reached out to Rhonda on Instagram, and I asked her when would be a great time to get in contact with her, because I had a question that's really, really important that it kept bothering me, so I needed it answered, and I knew that Rhonda was the one that I had to ask that question to. So she reached back out to me, and I called and we talked, and so she opened my eyes and gave me a reason, because my question was, how do I talk to her? How do I get her to conversate with me more so that I can listen to her? Because that was always my issue. And so she cleared it up, clear as day. Like I was walking on the street and my eye, like, and my eyesight was blurry, but now it's clear as day. And from the conversation that we had, me and Rhonda yesterday, she told me, and I know you guys say this on the call all the time, what lesson do I get from this person or this situation? And I literally asked that question before I got on the phone with my wife. And all these questions just came to me, and we had a really, really deep conversation. And it was amazing because it felt like we were like going closer, because we have a close relationship, but this is like next level. And so it was like an aha, but then also it was kind of like, wow, I gotta go share this with somebody. So like literally after the conversation, my wife was so like welcoming to what I was trying to explain to her, because I just want to help her, but I was doing it in an immature way and just saying it instead of getting her approval. Like, can I give you a perspective? And she told me last night that she really, really liked that and she appreciated it. And like, it was just more of a happier mood. And Rhonda explained to me that we were placed in each other's lives for a reason, which I know. But she was also saying that we're placed in each other's lives to complete each other, because I'm in my business. I feel like I'm doing things on my own, but the whole time I have somebody that completes me and my weaknesses. But I didn't look at it from that way, and so that it opened my eyes a lot, and I really really appreciate it, because now our conversations, even from yesterday, are better, and it's just I'm just excited for like where it's going to go, because it's just so much positivity, love, and it's just so clear as day. And so I just wanted to share that, and I appreciate you, Rhonda, and I appreciate our connection, and I'm excited to even communicate with you more, and even Sean. And so, yeah, I just wanted to get on and share that.
So Brandon, I'm gonna ask you a guy question. Have you thanked her today for that?
Who, my wife or Rhonda?
Your wife.
I thanked her yesterday, but I didn't thank her.
Did you hear my question? What was my question? Listen up, chucklehead. I love you. What was my question?
You said, did I thank her today?
Yes. And what did you go off and dance like a dancing bear somewhere?
No, I didn't thank her today.
So then suck it up, man up, and thank her today.
Okay.
Because here's what happens. This is how we get screwed up as guys. You just thought yeah, I thanked her like yesterday. No, the question was, this is why we sometimes have challenges listening to women. We want to answer a question they never asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love you. I'm doing my best to help you.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. So I'm not going to let you off the hook. So I would encourage you sometime in the next 20 minutes, find a way to just say thank you. Thank you for yesterday. I'm looking forward to all of our tomorrows.
Okay. I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, that'd be a smart thing. I'm only trying to teach you by example.
Brandon, thank you so much for all those sweet words. That was so kind of you. You know, I told you yesterday. Well, I'll tell you, I told you yesterday, I'll tell you again. Now that I have learned to allow people to be my teacher, even if they call me for a thought, I learned so much from you. And I'm so grateful for that. And to hear your voice and to hear the pep in your step, so to speak, man, it makes my heart happy. And I know that woman of yours is happy, and she's being spoken into by the man that she chose to live the rest of her life with. And that makes my heart soar. And I am so grateful for you. I'm so thankful for you. And I'm so excited for the stories that you're going to continue to share with us and how much fun it's going to be. I love you.
Thank you.
And Brandon, just be aware that you flipping over this leaf, there's going to be a lot of new experiences, and there's going to be some friction. Even though it's good, it's still friction of the old story. So just be prepared that because how instantly and effortlessly it seemed to step into the space because of a conversation, just be aware the enemy's going to go, well, we'll let him have it for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take some time. It's going to take some focus when you get challenged. Oh, well, see, I tried this new stuff and it doesn't work. How many times have we said that in our life? This will always work. Here's the great news. Love will always work.
Okay.
There you go. That's my years of experience and flathead banging it against the wall. All right, y'all. I love you tons. RBP, any last words?
No, I think we're good. I think everything's been summed up nicely. I know the only thing I would say is, Gina, put your big girl panties on, girl. You got this. Don't be moping. Big girl panties on. All right. And even slap on some stilettos if you have to. Do your wash day. I did mine yesterday. It took me about an hour. Do your wash day. Get everything in place. Look in that mirror and look how hot and sexy you are, and walk out in this world and take it on, girl. Don't you shrink for anybody. We need your greatness. I need your greatness. When you show up in your greatness, I get to show up in my greatness. Rise up, girl.
And I want to say a special thank you to Brianna, but I also want to say a special thanks to Clarence and Clarences Bride. They're probably not on here. They may never ever see this again, but in my heart, that to me, that was special. To hear him, he's like, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what I'm talking to. All I know is there's sounds coming out of that thing over there, and my voice is going in there. I know, but I'm just grateful for them showing up today. Whew. Y'all are a bunch of misfits, and I love y'all. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits, and I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all tell each other.
Love you
Bye,
all.
y'all. Love y'all.
All right.
Have a wonderful
God,
day.
you're here today.
Bye,
Have
guys.
a
I love
blessed
you.
day. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Ellie.
Everyone have a great day.
Love y'all.
Love you too, Sean.
My daughter said bye, Sean. Bye.
Hi, Daisy's mom, baby. Yay. Love y'all.
She said bye. Have a wonderful day, family.
Thank you.